Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of marketing.
Oh, yeah.
That fascinating world that is honestly kind of designed to subtly influence every decision you make. We're talking everything from the ads you see online all the way to the way things are arranged in stores.
Yeah.
Have you ever stopped and really thought about
Yeah.
how brands actually get you to buy stuff?
Well, it is.
Kind of crazy.
It's a very carefully constructed system. They really draw on psychology and, cultural trends, even your own emotions to make those products, irresistible.
They're so good at it. I remember this one time I was absolutely convinced I needed a certain pair of sneakers.
Oh, yeah.
Just because the ad said it would make me run faster. Let's just say my speed stayed the same.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I know that feeling. It's funny how they, tap into our aspirations like that.
Right.
You were just buying shoes. You were buying this idea of a faster fitter.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
That's so true.
Brands like Nike, they've mastered the art of selling not just a product, but an entire identity.
So they're not just selling shoes, they're selling a vision of athletic achievement.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart.
And it's not even limited to athletic brands. Think about Coca-Cola.
Right.
They've spent decades building this association between their product and feelings of happiness and connection.
Oh, yeah.
You think about those campaigns, they always place Coke at the center of joyful moments like family gatherings and holidays.
Yeah, I always see those heartwarming Coke commercials around Christmas time.
Exactly.
Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, exactly.
This whole idea of selling a feeling or an aspiration is really interesting. And I bet social media has just amplified this crazy.
Oh, absolutely. The digital age has totally revolutionized marketing. Yeah. Traditional media, TV and print ads, they've totally taken a back seat to platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Right.
They're the new battleground for capturing our attention.
It's true. I spend way more time on those apps than I do watching TV.
Yeah.
And I can't help but notice how many influencers there are out there.
Oh, yeah.
Promoting all kinds of products.
Tons.
It seems like a single recommendation from a popular TikToker
Right.
can be so much more persuasive than a traditional ad. Why do you think that is?
I think it comes down to trust and authenticity,
Okay.
We develop these parasocial relationships with influencers.
Right.
You feel like you know them personally.
Yeah.
So their endorsements feel less like advertising and more like a recommendation from a friend.
Yeah.
Even if you know they're being paid for it.
So even though we know it's an ad, we still trust them.
It's a powerful thing.
That's so interesting. I find myself thinking well, if they use it, maybe I should too.
Right.
It's like they've tapped into some kind of trust code in our brains.
Exactly. That trust is like gold to marketers. They know that a recommendation from someone we admire or relate to can be so much more effective than a polished corporate ad.
Yeah.
It just feels more genuine.
Yeah.
More organic.
It's all about creating that connection, that sense of shared values or aspirations.
Right.
And speaking of connection, have you ever noticed how websites seem to follow you around?
Oh, yeah.
With ads for stuff you've recently viewed?
All the time.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. That's called retargeting.
Okay.
It's one of the more subtle ways that marketers try to influence our decisions.
Oh, wow.
They track your online behavior.
Right.
And they can show you these hyper-relevant ads. So it creates this sense that they understand your needs perfectly.
It's like they're reading my mind. I'll be looking at a pair of shoes online.
Right.
And then those same shoes are popping up everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah. It can definitely feel invasive.
Yeah.
But it's a testament to how sophisticated marketing technology has become. They're gathering data on our preferences, our interests, even our anxieties.
Wow.
And they use that information to create these highly targeted ads that are hard to ignore.
It's like this constant game of cat and mouse between us and these marketing algorithms.
For sure.
Okay, so we've talked about the power of marketing, how it's evolved in the digital age.
Right.
But what about those tried and true psychological tricks that marketers use?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that make us reach for our wallets even when we know better.
Oh, absolutely. The classic tactics that tap into our deepest desires and insecurities.
Right.
It's like decoding the matrix.
Yeah.
Understanding these subtle cues and triggers that influence our behavior without us even realizing it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
That's what we're here for, to unlock those secrets.
Exactly.
So let's get to it. What are some of the most common and maybe even sneaky tricks they use?
Well, let's start with a classic.
Yeah.
The limited time offer.
Okay.
You know those banners flashing only 2 left?
Oh, yeah.
Or sale ends in 1 hour?
Oh, I know those all too well. It's like they're playing on our fear of missing out.
Exactly.
Like creating this urgency that makes us act impulsively.
Mm-hmm. They're playing on our loss aversion.
Loss aversion.
Yeah, that psychological principle that losses loom larger than gains.
Oh, okay.
So we're more motivated to, like, avoid missing out on a deal
Right.
than we are to make a rational decision based on our needs.
That's fascinating. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like wanting the product, it's about avoiding that feeling of regret later.
Exactly. They understand that that fear of missing out can be a really powerful motivator.
Yeah.
And then there's the free shipping illusion.
Okay.
Which, you know, often isn't actually free.
Oh, you mean how stores sometimes raise their prices to cover the cost of shipping? Yeah, it feels like you're getting a deal.
Right.
But you're really paying the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
It's just packaged differently.
Exactly. They understand that the word free has like a really powerful psychological effect.
It does.
Even if it's not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the use of color psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly red and yellow.
Right, like fast food chains.
Exactly.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, those colors are carefully chosen to stimulate hunger and create a sense of urgency.
Really?
Studies have shown that red and yellow
Wow.
can actually increase our heart rate and metabolism,
Oh, wow.
making us more likely to crave those greasy burgers and fries.
So they're like hacking our biology through color.
In a way, yeah.
That's pretty wild. I'm starting to realize that like every detail from the colors they use to the way they phrase their offers is carefully calculated to influence our behavior.
Absolutely. There's a reason why marketing is such a multi-billion-dollar industry. They're constantly researching and refining their techniques.
Yeah.
Always looking for new ways to tap into our psychology and persuade us to buy.
This is all really eye-opening. I'm feeling a little less like a savvy shopper.
Yeah.
And more like a pawn in their game.
Well, don't worry. That's a natural reaction once you start to understand the depth of these tactics.
Yeah.
But remember, awareness is the first step towards taking back control. Once we understand how these tricks work, we can start to see through them and make more conscious decisions.
So how do we become those conscious consumers?
Well, it's all about arming yourself with knowledge and developing a healthy skepticism.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we're going to dive into after the break.
Okay, I'm ready to learn how to outsmart the marketers.
So, you know, now that we like pulled back the curtain on some of these like sneaky marketing tactics, let's actually shift our focus to like the shopping experience itself.
Okay.
Because, you know, the very act of like going shopping has been like meticulously designed to like maximize your spending.
Wait, so you're saying that like the layout of the store, the music they play, even like the lighting,
all of it
can affect how much I spend?
Absolutely. Retailers have spent years studying consumer behavior. You know,
wow.
They optimize like every detail to create an environment that just encourages you to like open your wallet.
I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about here?
Well, like, let's take grocery stores, for example.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how like the essential items like milk and bread are almost always located at the back of the store?
Now that you mention it, yeah, it seems like I always have to walk through like a maze of tempting treats and colorful displays just to get to the basics.
That's by design.
Really?
Yeah, it's a deliberate strategy to increase your exposure to more products.
Oh, wow.
You know, they're hoping that you'll toss a few extra items into your cart along the way.
So it's all about those impulse purchases. It's exactly maximizing those impulse buys.
And then there's like the whole thing about where products are placed on the shelves.
Oh, yeah, like the strategic placement of products at eye level.
Right, the prime real estate of the supermarket shelf.
Exactly.
I've always wondered like why certain brands get those coveted spots.
Well, the products placed at eye level are often the more expensive brands.
Oh, really?
You know, the ones they really want you to buy because they know that those are the items that are going to catch your attention first.
Right.
Making them more likely to end up in your shopping basket.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the more affordable options, you know, they're often relegated to the bottom shelves.
Right.
Where you have to like bend down to even see them.
Wow. I never realized how much thought goes into something as simple as shelf placement.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it seems like there's a hidden message behind every decision.
There is.
What about those end cap displays?
Oh, yeah.
The ones that are always overflowing with like colorful, enticing products. Well, those are designed to disrupt your shopping flow. To break you out of autopilot and grab your attention. They often feature new products or seasonal items or special promotions.
Okay.
It's all about like creating that sense of excitement, urging you to like stop and explore.
It's like they're saying, hey, look at this. You need this in your life and you need it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more often than not, our brains just respond to those cues without us even realizing it.
Yeah, that's true.
We make those snap judgments based on visual appeal and that sense of urgency.
Okay. I'm starting to see how all these subtle cues can really add up.
Yeah.
It's not just about the products themselves. It's about the entire shopping experience.
Exactly. It's about the whole environment they create.
What about the music and lighting in stores?
Oh, yeah.
I always feel like stores have this like perfectly curated vibe.
Right.
But I never really considered that it might be intentional.
Well, you're absolutely right. Music and lighting, they play a crucial role in creating a specific atmosphere. Think about like clothing stores, for example.
Okay.
They often play like upbeat, trendy music.
Yeah, every time I walk into a clothing store, the music makes me feel like I need to buy a whole new wardrobe to keep up with the latest trends.
That's exactly the goal.
Wow.
Studies have shown that music can actually influence our mood and our spending habits.
Oh, wow.
Upbeat music tends to make us feel more energetic and impulsive, which can lead to more spontaneous purchases, whereas slower music can encourage us to linger longer, browse more products, and ultimately spend more time and money in the store.
So they're using music to like manipulate our emotions.
In a way, yeah.
To create a specific feeling that's conducive to spending.
Yeah, they're really good at it.
And what about lighting? I've noticed that stores often use like bright, warm lighting.
Right.
Especially in areas where they're showcasing like their most appealing products.
Well, warm, inviting lighting can actually make products look more attractive and appealing.
Okay.
Whereas like harsh fluorescent lighting can have the opposite effect. It can make things seem dull and uninspiring.
So it's all about creating this immersive experience, carefully designed to guide our decisions and encourage us to spend more.
Exactly. They want to create an environment where you feel good and you're more likely to open your wallet.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I need to pay more attention to my surroundings the next time I go shopping.
It's all about awareness.
Right.
And these tactics aren't even limited to brick and mortar stores. Online retailers use a whole host of digital strategies to influence your behavior as well.
Oh, right. We talked about retargeting earlier.
Yeah.
But I bet there are a ton of other tricks they use online.
Oh, absolutely.
Like what?
One common tactic is creating a sense of scarcity.
Okay.
You'll often see messages like limited stock available or only a few left next to products, even if there's plenty of inventory in their warehouses.
It's that fear of missing out all over again.
Exactly. They want us to believe that if we don't act now, we'll miss out on something special.
And then there are those countdown timers ticking away on product pages.
Oh, yeah.
Like creating that sense of urgency and pressure. It's like a psychological game they're playing with us.
Right.
Tapping into our impulsive side and making us feel like we need to act fast.
Exactly.
Before the deal disappears.
Yeah. They know how to push our buttons.
I've definitely fallen for those countdown timers before. It's like my rational mind goes out the window and I just like, buy, before I even have a chance to think it through.
It happens to the best of us.
What about those personalized recommendations?
Oh, yeah.
That seem to know exactly what I want even before I do.
Well, those recommendation algorithms are incredibly sophisticated. They analyze your browsing history, your purchase history, even your social media activity to predict what you might be interested in.
It's amazing how much data they're collecting on us.
Yeah. It's a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
But it's also a testament to how powerful these algorithms have become.
I guess it makes sense from a marketing perspective, but it's still a bit unsettling.
It is. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
On one hand, personalized recommendations can be helpful.
Right.
They can guide us towards products we might actually enjoy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it can feel intrusive.
Right.
Like our privacy is being invaded.
Yeah, it's this constant battle between convenience and privacy.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much thought and strategy goes into influencing our shopping decisions, both online and offline.
Yeah, it's a whole science.
Yeah.
It really is a testament to the power of marketing and the sophisticated techniques they use to shape our behavior as consumers.
But you know what? Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
by understanding these tactics, we can start to make more conscious choices and resist that urge to overspend.
Exactly. Yeah. Take back control of your spending.
So how do we arm ourselves against these tactics and become more mindful shoppers?
Well, that's a great question, and that's what we're going to dive into next.
So how do we, break free from these marketing traps and, become more conscious consumers?
Well, it all starts with awareness.
Yeah.
The first step is, recognizing that these tactics exist.
Right.
And understanding how they can influence our behavior. Once we can see the strings being pulled, we can start to resist their influence.
So it's we need to develop some kind of marketing radar.
Exactly.
Always be scanning for those subtle cues and messages that are trying to sway our decisions.
Yeah, think of it as becoming a marketing detective.
Okay.
Always on the lookout for those hidden persuaders.
I like that.
And a key part of that is understanding what are called cognitive biases.
Okay, cognitive biases. I've heard that term before, but I'm not sure I fully get it.
Yeah, so they're essentially these ingrained patterns of thinking that can lead us to make irrational decisions.
Right.
Even when we think we're being logical. For example, there's something called the anchoring bias.
Anchoring bias?
Yeah, where we tend to overemphasize the first piece of information we receive.
Okay.
Even if it's totally irrelevant.
So those limited time offers where they show you an inflated original price before revealing the sale price?
That original price acts as an anchor.
Okay.
Making the sale price seem way more appealing.
Right.
Even if it's still higher than what you would find elsewhere.
Yeah.
Our brains just latch on to that first piece of information and use it as a reference point.
I can see how that would be a really powerful tool for marketers.
Oh, yeah.
It's they're setting the stage for a perceived bargain.
Exactly. They're framing the deal in a way that makes it seem irresistible.
What other cognitive biases are there?
Well, another common one is the bandwagon effect.
Bandwagon effect.
Yeah, our tendency to follow the crowd.
Right.
So think about those products with thousands of positive reviews.
Yeah.
We see that everybody else seems to love it. So we assume it must be good.
Oh, yeah. I totally do that. I'm way more likely to buy something if I see that it has a ton of 5-star reviews.
Right. It's social proof that you're making the right decision.
Exactly.
And that's why influencer marketing is so effective.
Right.
Because they're leveraging our natural desire to fit in, to be part of the group. We see someone we admire using a product.
Yeah.
And we want to be like them.
It's our brains are wired to trust the collective wisdom of the group.
Right, even if that group is just a bunch of strangers online.
Yeah, that's so true.
And then there's the scarcity bias, which we already talked about a little bit.
Scarcity bias.
Yeah, we tend to value things more when they're perceived as rare.
Okay.
Or difficult to obtain.
Right, that's why those limited edition products and exclusive offers are so enticing.
Exactly. They create a sense of urgency.
Right.
And make us feel like we need to act fast before we miss out.
It's marketing is this constant game of psychology.
Yeah, it's a game we all play.
Yeah, using these biases against us.
In a way, it is. But the good news is that by understanding these biases, we can start to recognize them in ourselves and make more conscious decisions.
So how do we actually do that?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's a continuous process.
Okay.
But here are a few tips.
Okay.
First, take your time. Don't make impulsive purchases.
Right.
Step away from the screen.
Okay.
Give yourself a day or two to think it over. Ask yourself, do I really need this?
Yeah.
Or is this purchase aligned with my values and my goals?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get caught up in the moment and just click buy without really thinking about the long-term implications.
We all do it.
Yeah.
It's natural. But by taking a moment to pause and reflect, we can avoid making those regrettable purchases.
Okay.
Another helpful tip is to unsubscribe from tempting email lists.
Oh, yeah.
And unfollow social media accounts that promote excessive consumerism.
That's a good idea. I'm constantly bombarded with ads and emails that make me feel like I need to buy new stuff.
Exactly.
All the time.
So by limiting your exposure to those messages,
right,
you can reduce the temptation to make impulse purchases.
Makes sense.
And finally focus on experiences rather than material possessions.
Okay.
Studies have shown that spending money on experiences like travel or concerts leads to greater happiness than spending money on things.
I love that, shifting our focus from acquiring things to creating memories.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a much more fulfilling way to spend our time and money.
I completely agree.
So really, it's all about taking back control, right?
Yeah.
Not letting marketing dictate our desires and decisions.
Absolutely. It's about being mindful, intentional and empowered.
I like that.
It's about using our money as a tool to support the things that we care about.
Right.
And create a life that is rich in experiences and meaningful connections.
Well said. I feel like this deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I feel like I've learned so much about the psychology of marketing and how to navigate this complex world as a more informed consumer.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise.
And remember, knowledge is power. Use what you've learned today to make conscious choices that support your well-being and align with your values.
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey of decoding the fascinating and sometimes manipulative world of marketing.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.